So let's talk about how to write a good LinkedIn post. Before you look at how to write a good LinkedIn post, the first and the most crucial step for you is to find out what it is that you want to write in your LinkedIn post. So no matter how many good tricks and tips I give you on how to catch readers' attention, how to keep them reading, how to make it so that people like, share, comment on it, if the content of the post is not good enough, none of this is going to happen. So all the tricks and tips are just the periphery. You first have to find out what is the core, what is the message that you are going to deliver, how is the life of your audience, how is the life of a reader, the person who is going to read it, going to be a little better after reading your post than it was before they had read it, right? So spend all of your time, I would say, trying to find out that insight. What is the insight that you want to deliver? It shouldn't be something commonsensical. You just Google 5 tips to save money and 5 tips to grow your audience, and then you make a post on it. They can simply find it on Google. What is it that you, based on your experience, your skill, your expertise, what is it that you can deliver that they can't find very easily on Google, right? So that is step number one, and no one can help you with it. To find out an insight that is unique enough that people will stop, give 2, 3, 4 minutes of their day to read it and then think about it, and then if it is good enough to decide to do business with you. So that's tip number one, and that's non-negotiable. Because I have seen people who don't follow any of the things that I'm going to talk about next. Don't optimize it for LinkedIn. They are terrible at writing, but because their insight is so good, their content automatically does well. Once that is out of the way, you look at how to write a good hook. A hook is basically the around 3 lines that appear on the top of a LinkedIn post before LinkedIn shows click more. So when people are going through their LinkedIn feed, they are basically on a speed scrolling mode. So your hook needs to be compelling enough that it stops them and it persuades them to read your entire post. It's basically you are given 3 lines to sell the rest of your post to the audience. So here basically you have to make a promise to your audience telling them what this post is going to be about. And you have to make the boldest, the strangest, the uniquest promise you can come up with. But one caution is, don't go too overboard and making it too clickbaity, because if you have told someone that you're going to be a millionaire if you read the rest of the post, and your rest of the post is just 3 or 4 tips on how to save or invest money or something, just something very commonly known, now you have broken a promise. So you made a promise and have broken it in the rest of your content. Even though you for that particular post might do well on your feed, no one is going to read the next post, because they will know that, hey, this person just spams me with their clickbaity headlines and does not deliver any real value in the content. So you have to strike a balance between being bold enough and yet not being so bold that the rest of the content can't match up with it. Now get to the meat of the body. So you already know what you want to say. That was the step one, right? You already know what you want to write in the body. Now I'm going to tell you how to write it. So 70 to 80% of LinkedIn's audience consumes LinkedIn on their mobile feed. So you have to write with that demographic in your mind, right? So if you're typing up your post on MS Word or Google Docs, you might type 2 lines, a 2 line paragraph, and say, okay, yeah, it's good enough. But when it goes on the LinkedIn feed, on mobile LinkedIn feed, it becomes 4 or 5 or 6 sentences. So there is a big possibility that you might scare away someone just by that big paragraph, even though your content was really good. So always make sure your paragraphs are not more than 2 or 3 lines, 1 or 2 sentences max. Split your ideas into different paragraphs. If possible, whenever possible, try to use bullet lists. 3 ways to do this, tuck, 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 right? So do whatever you can to make your post more readable. Keep in mind your audience is busy. They have already to do some work in the office. They are just procrastinating. They're just in the speed scrolling mode. So you have to write in the most readable and the most skimmable way while still communicating some valuable insight to the audience. Some other things you could think of it is always try to use examples. So the rule in copywriting or any form of writing is show, don't tell. right? So if you are talking about how to handle a bad client, for example, show them how you handled a bad client in your past, right? Tell them the story. Don't just give them pointers on how to do it. Pointers are good because they aid your story, but first you need to give them the story so that people can relate to you, and people can know that okay, this person has gone through it, and now they are telling me their experience, not just they had read it somewhere and now they are vomiting it on my feed. So giving examples makes you more authentic and makes you more relatable. So just like examples, you can use analogies and metaphors to make your writing more interesting and sticky in your audience's head. So you could tell how growing a business is like growing a tree, or you could talk about how mental health is going on a car ride, or you can talk about how building your website is like building a home. You first come up with the structure, you take care of the inner decorations, and then take care of the doors, windows, whatever it is. So if you can come up with analogies, people will remember you longer because you gave them a concept on how to think about things. Then lastly, it's important that you ask them a question at the end. This is how I dealt with this particular situation. Your post is about that, and then you ask, have you gone through something similar? How did you deal with it? Right? Or another good way of ending a post is to summarize everything that you have said. So you have stated 4, 5, 6 points, elaborate points. At the end, you just write in short forms what those 4 points are. You just repeat it, just summarize it very briefly, so that people can remember, and that way they are more likely to engage. So again, summarizing everything, you begin with your insight, what it is that you actually want to say, and then see how you can sell that idea of this post in a hook that makes people stop, read your post, and then do whatever it is that you want them to do. Comment, engage, click on the link in the comment and buy your product, whatever it is. Then you come to the body, where you write short paragraphs, you try to give examples, you try to give analogies, and then you end with a CTA. If you like this post, please like, comment, share, because it means the world to me.